and welcome everyone. This is Radzi and welcome to day 2 of our Fueled by Joy e-course. Thank you for once again having me in your life, whether you're catching me on your iPad, on your computer, on your tablet, on your phone. Thank you very much for clicking the play button on this video and once again choosing joy in your life. The Fueled by Joy e-course is an invitation for you to step into your divine essence, which I primarily connect to as joy. And this is an opportunity for us to really connect to our essence, embody that essence, remember our essence, be inspired from that essence, and really realign our lives and allow ourselves to be fueled by this essence. There are 2 themes that we discussed yesterday that I'd like to reiterate before we move forward into today's content. The first thing that I really want to share with you is what I believe is one of our true desires in our lives is to create a beautiful experience of our life. Each one of us wants to experience life at its best. Each one of us wants to experience the fullness, the vivaciousness, the radiance, the magic, and the magnificence of life. And I say this with a ton of love that our experience of life, our experience in the world, our experience in this cosmos, our experience as living beings in a society, in family, in culture, is basically the relationship that we have within ourselves. So our relationship of ourselves, our experience of our own selves is the exact experience that we have with everything that is outside of us. So that's family, relationships, career, work, the larger community, the greater world, the greater cosmos, the greater multiverse. So if we can really connect to creating that beautiful experience of ourselves within ourselves, we can truly live the best experience of our life. All right, so everything begins within, and everything is about that inward focus and looking within and connecting within. It's not on the outside, it's on the inside. And a lot of the times we focus too much on the outside and trying to fix everything that's on the outside, where what we really need to be doing is looking within, which is what this course is honestly all about. It's about looking at your why and looking at that which fuels you. The second thing that I really iterated, that I really want to reiterate, which we spoke about yesterday, is the why behind what you do. Each one of us has dreams. Each one of us has a vision. Our purpose, our life purpose, our soul mission, whatever word that you choose to connect with that, is here to create, is here to live its fullest expression. We're here to bring value. We're here to live our purpose. We're here to express fully, wholly, completely, vivaciously. That is why we are here. And each one of us, we crave the full expression of our spirit and the full expression of our purpose, which is why I really focus on the why behind what you're doing, because a lot of the times we're very outwardly inspired to do what we want to do. So we look at where other people are succeeding. We look at what is working for other people. We look at how other people are acing their life. And we think, well, if we would do it this way, or if we could follow this, or if we could accomplish that, or if we could attain this, we would also experience the same level of contentment that the other people sort of seem to be experiencing. But the truth is that because each one of us is created unique, and fun fact, I read a beautiful article in the newspaper that said everyone's dance, the way our bodies move, is as unique as our fingerprint. Which sort of really blew my mind, because even in the physical movement and physical expression of our body, we are totally unique as our fingerprints are. So that was like, yep, science is finally catching on, which is great. So each one of us is unique. Our soul expression is unique. Our physical movement is unique. Our fingerprints are unique. Our soul prints are unique. Because each one of us is so unique, the reason behind what we do is also unique, and I invite us to connect to that why, the why behind what you're doing. A lot of the times, the why is important. We try to focus too much on what we should be doing and how it should look like, but we don't focus on why we should honestly be doing it, right? And I truly, from personal experience, speak this, that once your why is aligned with your truth, and once your why is aligned with your beautiful, joyful essence, you will receive a much greater result, for lack of a better word, with your work. And I say this because I always quote my personal example of going to the gym and how I freaking hated it. If you do not know this story, well, you don't know me long enough, and so I'll share it with you again, which is that when I've been a big kid, big teen, big adult, big woman, all of that, been big all my life. And so I started going to the gym at a very young age, and I hated it. I hated it because my why behind going to the gym was because I had to lose weight, I had to be fixed, I was not accepted. People told me, Radzi, there's something seriously wrong with you. I was told to, told to become thin. I was told this was not acceptable. I was told this would not be okay. So there was no validation, there was no acceptance, there was clearly no acknowledgement, no celebration, none of that. And so my why behind going to the gym was because I had to lose weight, because I needed to be fixed. And let me tell you, that never worked. I have been on a roller coaster ride with my weight, especially with my gym memberships, since as early as I was 10 or 11 years old. I'm 30 today. And so my why at that time was just not in the right space. Why I wanted to do things was not something that was truly in alignment with my purpose, with my unique essence, with my brilliance, with my spirit self. It was far away from it. In fact, it was outside of me. And until I focused on my why, my gym memberships never really worked out for me. So I started focusing on physical movement. And I said, how can I start to shift that experience for myself? Which is why I started dancing. I found Koya, which is a movement practice I teach. And then I sort of got back into going back to the gym. Cut to 20 years later, really 20 years later from when I first went to the gym. I was 10 or 11. Today I'm 30 and a half, going to 31 this year in July. And I love going to the gym. I am almost, for lack of a better word, totally addicted. I can spend up to 3 hours in the gym. I really enjoy myself, and it is the best part of my day. Well, second best. The first is to sort of connect with all of you. The second best is to go to the gym. Why? Because I changed my why behind going to the gym. All right. My why today is not about social acceptance. My why today is not social validation. My why today is not to be loved and to be accepted and to be understood and acknowledged. I do that for myself. I'm like, I don't need you. I will love myself, support myself, acknowledge myself, celebrate myself. I go to the gym because I do all of this, and then I enjoy the process. So today I'm stronger, fitter, healthier, more in love with myself, more connected to myself, and not as attached to the number on the weighing scale, but more attached to how I feel within my body. So my gym is the same. My exercises are the same. What I'm doing is pretty much more than what I used to do at the time. I'm doing more stuff in the gym. I'm engaging more in the gym, and I'm loving it more. And the only thing that changed was my why. The why behind what we do is very important, which is what I really iterated yesterday, and I really want to say that again to you. Your task can be the same thing. For me, I was going to the gym 20 years ago. I'm going to the gym today. I was doing stuff then. I'm doing stuff now. My why then was very outward focused. My why today is very inward aligned. So two things that I really wanted to share with you before we move on to day 2, which is today. So yesterday's tasks, 10 minutes later, yesterday's tasks were figure out an area in your life that you would like to disrupt with joy, right? So one area in your life that you feel could pump up the joy factor, one area in your life where you could really disrupt with your joyful essence, where you could really connect with your joyful essence and really enjoy stepping into joyfulness. And the second thing is think about ways and spaces on how you can bring joy. So for example, what I said yesterday was the one area in my life that I chose to disrupt about 4 years ago. 4.5 years ago was my physical movement. That's where I wanted to receive joy. I wanted to disrupt it. I wanted to bring joy into that space. And instead of gym and all of that, I moved to dancing. So I found one way that I could disrupt this aspect of my life that was joyful. So yesterday's task for you was to figure out an area in your life that you would like to increase joy in, or just initiate joy in, or ignite joy in. And the second was to find a way, look within you, go back to what you love doing, go back to that which nourishes you, which you love doing, and something that automatically brings joy, and let that joy fuel you. So if you are here, then it is my hope and prayer that you have completed those tasks and you know exactly what area in your life you'd like to focus on, and what sort of activity you can focus on to invite joy into your life, which now brings us to day 2. And day 2, I'd like to invite you, or I'd like to meet your forever friend, the mind, which says there's no way you can do it. All right. So the moment you decide to do something fun and exciting and amazing and revolutionary and expansive and evolutionary in your life, your fear, shadow, ego, self, doubty self comes up and says, oh, that's not happening. Right? That you can't do this. That's not possible. You can't commit to it. It's not feasible. You're being too selfish. You're being too arrogant. You're being too self-centered. You're being too much. You're thinking too much. You're not worthy. This is not happening. You can't do this. Da 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 da. Blah blah blah. And raise your hands if that beautiful self of yours has ever popped its beautiful head, and to me it has. And so I invite you to pay attention to that part of you which tells you it's not happening. It's not gonna happen. You can't do this. So it can come up with a ton of excuses, right? You can come up with a ton of excuses on why it's not gonna happen. You don't have enough time. You don't have enough resources. You're not worthy. What will other people think? What will other people say? I cannot challenge the status quo. I cannot hurt certain people in my life. I can't seem to be very aggressive. I can't seem to be very pushy. I don't want to come across as someone who is dominating. So I'm not going to do. So the reason why you cannot do what you decided yesterday was an activity that fuels your joy, is because of the following reasons. And I know that you will have those reasons. And I know that if you have consciously tried to do more of what brings you joy, this inner conversation has already happened. All right, this inner conversation has already happened, where a part of you has woken up and suddenly decided why this joy path is not for you, why you cannot commit at this time, why you are not ready at this time, why this is not the right thing for you, why if you do this, it's not going to go right, why if you change status quo, it's not going to support you, why staying in the zone that you are in, and why sticking to status quo is the best thing for you to do. So today I invite you to notice that these words come up, that this conversation inside of you comes up. And when it comes up, it is important to be dealt with. So I never ever encourage you to put it under the carpet. I never say, don't acknowledge it. I never say pretend it's not there, because it's there. And the truth is that it's here today and it's going to be here tomorrow and it's going to be here to the day you die. This conversation of staying in status quo, this conversation, this aspect of yourself, this ego, doubt, fear-based part of yourself that says, do not move forward, do not choose joy, you're not ready, you're not worthy, it's not going to support you, it's not the right thing for you, etc., etc. That conversation will always come, will always happen. And so I am someone who knows, and I encourage you to also be prepared that this conversation is going to come up, that your ego side or your fear-based self or your your scarcity mindset self will come forward and say, we're not indulging that looks good, but let's just stay where we are, let's just not try to change lanes. And so when this conversation comes up, when this dialogue comes up, it is very important to acknowledge it and say, yup, of course. So I always say this with a lot of love, that when this comes up, you acknowledge it. You're like, yes, I hear you. Yes, I see you. I know exactly what you're trying to tell me. I know exactly what you're trying to do. And it is important for you to notice that, that voice. It's important for you to acknowledge that voice. It's important for you to absolutely be aware of this voice. All right, let's not pretend, let's not brush it under the carpet, let's not mask it, let's not say, oh, well, we have risen so far above that this voice never talks to us. This voice talks to you, it talks to all of us. This voice never goes away. And what you have to do is that this is sort of day 2, and our topic for day 2 is the voice. The voice of the old, the voice of the past, the voice of the ego, the voice of doubt, the voice of fear, the voice of scarcity that shows up. What must be acknowledged must be respected, all right, must be given due. It's due, and you say, yes, I hear it. And here is another important point of making a choice, right? When you acknowledge that this voice has sprung up, when you acknowledge that your ego self is speaking out, when you acknowledge that your fear is speaking out, you also acknowledge your power and freedom to choose. Because at this point of recognition and awareness, you also have the freedom of choice, where you decide and say, I see you fear, I see you doubt, I see you ego, I see you're scared, I see you feel threatened, I see you feel unhappy, I see that you feel discomfort, or I see you're feeling icky about this new decision we're taking. And then you continue to enforce the power of your choice. A lot of the times what happens is that when fear and ego and doubt and selfishness and all of those unworthiness, when they rear their head out, we give up our power of freedom, of choice. We give up our freedom to choose. We say, oh, okay. And then we give in to this voice rather than reclaim the power of our choice. So with an acknowledgement of their ego, I see you. I see you feel threatened. I see you feel scared. I see that you feel you won't survive. I see that you feel this is your end. And so you're trying with every fiber that you've got to hold me back, to pull me down, to sort of, push me back from this new space that I'm choosing to move to. I see you. So you comfort. You're gentle with yourself. You're tender with yourself. You comfort yourself. And in the comforting and in being tender and being gentle with yourself, you reclaim the power of your choice. And you say, there, I see you. and continue to do that which fuels joy within you. So today is day 2, and today is all about reclaiming the freedom of choice, where you can be 100% certain in your life that when you choose something new, when you choose something which is a little different, when you choose something which your ego and your this comfort zone of fear that has sort of taken center stage in your life, when you choose something new, something that is not in alignment with status quo, with comfort zone, with where you are in the present moment, when you introduce something new, it will be challenged. Of course it will be challenged. Of course fear is going to come, and scarcity and unworthiness, and all of those are going to rear its ugly head and say, you can't do that. That is not possible. What are you saying? You have family, you have bills, you have relationships, you have friendships. You're going to be totally lonely. No one's going to want to hang out with you. No one's going to want to be with you. No one's going to think you're cool anymore. And no one's going to want to have anything to do with you. Or you're going to have no money, or you're going to have no friends, and you're not going to have all of that. Of course, those fear and that ego and that doubt and that scarcity will step in. Of course they will. Of course they absolutely will. And especially when you commit to action, especially when you commit to doing that task which you have identified yesterday that will support you. Of course it's going to come up. I mean, who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? Of course it's going to come up. Be ready and honestly witness how it's going to come up, because it's fascinating. I love when ego is threatened, how it shows up and how it tries to make things so ugly, and it tries to make things so convoluted and manipulative within ourselves. It's fascinating to watch. It's fascinating to watch the ego and what it will do to survive. And at the same time, you're gentle. You're kind, you're compassionate, and you're saying, there, ego, I see you. I honor you. I know what you're feeling, but I trust myself. I trust in that which feels good to me. I trust in that which feels joyful. I trust in that which invokes joy within me. And I know that I will survive. And I know that I will thrive. And I know that I will fly. So it is in acknowledgement of this voice, and it is in a reclaiming of your power. Reclaim your power of choice, the freedom to choose, the freedom to continuously step into that which brings you joy. It is a decision you take day after day, every single day. And I encourage you to make that choice today and always. So your task for day 2 is to notice what comes up when you commit to taking joyful action. When you commit to doing things and taking time off of, taking time off to doing these things, or, with your set pattern of day, you will not be doing certain things to make space for these new things you want to try into your life. I invite you to put in the comments below on the Facebook post, what is that inner conversation like? Notice what comes up. Notice what fear comes up. Notice what fear comes up. What does that inner chatter look like for you? What does that inner ego, survival, ego, it's fighting for survival look like? Put it in the comments below. How is it pulling you back into status quo? How is it holding you down? How is it preventing you from making that leap into your life? Put that conversation in the comments below, right? That is your task, is to identify the voice. Identify that voice. And then when you comfort it, when you see it, when you acknowledge it, all right, and you reclaim the power of choice, the freedom to choose, what does that feel like and what does that look like? So our task for today is twofold once again. First task of the day is, as you commit to taking action to that which is fueled by joy, action that is inspired from that joyful essence, action that is connected to that joyful essence. When you commit to taking action, what does that ego voice look like? So write it. Write down the the excuses it's giving you. Write down the reasons that your ego self gives you to hold yourself down, to pull yourself back, to sort of remain in status quo. What is the fear that it is feeding you so that you absolutely forget about this new chapter in your life? And then so share with me what that conversation looks like, because it's going to happen the moment you choose a new action, the moment you choose to replace an old action with a new action. That voice is going to come. Of course it's going to come. So honoring what that voice is going to look like and typing that in the comments below, that this is what my fear said, this is what my scarcity said, this is what my doubt said, this is what my ego said. And then once you comfort it and nurture it and acknowledge it and love on it, and you reclaim the power of your choice, what does that feel like? All right. So those are the 2 tasks for today. I trust you enjoy experimenting with this. I trust you enjoy staying witness to this beautiful conversation and taking your beautiful breaths along the way. Remember to be kind and gentle with yourself, knowing there is no right way to do this, and you know you're doing it right if it feels good to you. All right, everyone, I really wanted these videos to be short and sweet, but obviously short and sweet is just not my sweet spot. So thank you very much for committing to this video. Tons of love, and I will see you soon, basically on day 3. Take care. Goodbye.